You guys are saying a lot of people don't have enough to retire, but we're told from a young age to, like you were talking about earlier, go into school, get a good job, get a 401k, invest in that, save in that, and you're going to be a billionaire. But if that's not happening for anybody, do you think there's a disconnect? So you've been conditioned to do all this stuff, but if nobody has enough, there might be a reason. There also might be different things that you can do with that too. And not to poo-poo the 401k, but I guess who has a 401k? So if you do, okay, so not to poo-poo it because it's a great savings account. It's not getting people to retire. That's all it is. It taught people how to save, which is a great thing. And it wasn't intended when it was created to be a retirement account. You guys know what it was for. They created it back in the late 70s, 78, 79, as a tax shelter for the wealthy. It was actually called the Salary Reduction Program. What did they have back then for people to retire? Pensions, right? And with pensions, it required the company to get their employees to retire. They did that, right? Well, now you have this other program called a salary reduction program, so they changed the name of it. 401k sounds great, right? Sounds pretty cool. And now responsibility is on you. Because are they actually giving you any advice? They might give you a match, 3, 4, 5, 6%, whoop-de-doo, right? Which is not a bad thing. Right? That's a good thing if they considered it free money, right? But if it's still not getting people to retire, there's something wrong with that. It's broken. Okay? So there might be other things that we can do. How do you actually fill that wealth bucket? How do you fill your wealth bucket?
Big investments.
Investments? But where does that money come from for the investments?
From your pocket. I mean, the money doesn't come from nowhere. You have to earn it in order to.
Your income, right? But if people don't have enough income to get by or whatever that may be, have some fun, right? Pay those pesky bills. If you don't have enough money to save and invest, you'll never be able to fill that, right? So trading investing might be another avenue to start filling that or have that as your fun money or whatever that you want. You dictate that, right? Now, which is more important, income or wealth?
Income. You can't have wealth without income.
Correct. But how do you have wealth? Or how do you have income? During retirement time. You're going to have that wealth built up. So they're equally important. Without income, there's no wealth. Without wealth, there's no income at retirement time. Right? So it's now is the important time to start building both of those. Obviously, everybody has their JLB, hopefully, right? But then having other things fund a retirement account. So when you want to retire, you actually can. Okay, and I've talked to so many people in 60s, even in their 70s, and they can't retire. And they say, "Oh, I'll work forever. I want to." Usually, the conversation changes halfway through. They're saying that because they've conditioned themselves because they know they have to. They're making themselves feel better, and they actually realize it in a conversation. But people condition themselves organically and don't even know it. Right? So we talked about your income bucket, your wealth bucket. Now, how do the markets actually work? It's pretty simple. It's buying and selling between two parties, right? Who's the buyers and who's the sellers in the markets? What do you guys think? Who's buying and selling?
You can buy and sell.
That's it.
I can be a buyer, I can be a seller.
Okay, so everyday people. Who else?
Institutions.
Institutions, right? Who else?
Companies.
So we're on the right path. So how the markets work is actually really simple. It's just an exchange of money, is all it is. From the people that don't know what they're doing to the people that do. That's actually how simple it is. Who is consistently profitable year after year after year after year? Banks and institutions. They're always profitable. Who is consistently struggling year after year after year? The public, right? And when I say retail traders, that's the public, right? Everyday people. Typically struggle, typically lose investing and trading, right? But what is the difference between institutions and the retail traders, the public?
Because the banks have a certain amount of money that they can borrow against. They've got some
So
assets there.
we can leverage. We all have access to the same tools, the same leverage. They have more money, but we have an advantage because we have less money. When you have millions and billions of dollars, you can't buy Apple stock at $150 per share. You have to scale in, and that can be noticed. We can get in and out of our positions like this at any price with our small thousands, tens of thousands, $1 million accounts. We can't move the market. They move the market, which gives us that advantage. Okay? But what's the difference between them and the public?
Yeah, that's for instance, there are some like public information.
All the information's out there. We all have the same amount of information. Right? You can Google anything these days, right? We all have the same tools. So what is the difference? There's only one difference. Gamblers, these guys have a strategy. That's the only thing difference. They learned a strategy. Remember we talked about earlier how easy it is to get in the market? What does everybody do? Open an account, buy a stock, just to check it out and see how it works. Think about this. This is your hard-earned money that you're just putting into the market with no knowledge, no skill, and hoping it goes up. Think about that for a second. One direction only, too. You guys aren't rocket scientists. They're not geniuses, brain surgeons, whatever, everybody thinks that are really, really smart people. They just built a skill. They learned a skill. Warren Buffett, for example, he didn't learn trading investing on his own. He was mentored by Benjamin Graham at Columbia University, right? He had a mentor. He was taught how to do all this. You can't figure it out on your own, but everybody tries. And then what happens? They quit.